Oh, look at you, eh? Clicking on a video about accountants. How responsible. Never thought your life would ever come to this, did you? But good for you. Stick around to find out what to look out for, what to ask, what to avoid when it comes to finding your prop trading accountant. And I'll cut your deal. If you're one of those that stick with me through the whole video, I'm going to land a big recommendation at some point in this video for those of you that can't be bothered to go and research the firms, just want some good old juicy contact details. So am I going to use chapters so as you know when I'm going to drop that nugget in the video? Absolutely not. I want you to stay with me in great suspense with a real sense of looking forward to what's next. Look, dangling this carrot is probably the only way I'm going to get people to stay engaged on any of my videos. Or maybe I should dangle my carrot. That's an idea. Okay, enough of that sorcery. That isn't why you called. Now, finding a prop trading accountant really isn't easy. There's a lot of average bods out there with stuffy accountancy houses that know a lot about a little and aren't specialised in anything worth noting. Some will tell you that they can adapt or know the market, but it's your job to sift out the grafters from the grifters and the good hitters from the bull-shitters. 3 things you need to work out. Do they know the trading industry and more specifically the retail prop trading industry? Do they have other clients in the same industry doing the same thing? Do they have specialists in their practice focusing purely on forex trading or prop trading at this scale? Now, it is worth noting that you always get some tool that lives in his mother's basement wearing a fake Rolex in some knockoff Hugo Boss from a Turkish market with some Gucci sandals on, who's always trying to give it a big un like, yeah mate, get an accountant that works in the grey geese. I'm set up in 24 countries, 6 passports, 3 driving licenses. I've almost got too much money. Yeah, wanna know how much tax I pay? Yeah? Well, how much? Nothing. Silks, nada, nil point, mate. They just don't make them like me anymore. But let's just make one thing super clear, and that is if you don't fall into the high net worth category, then in general, the juice really ain't worth the squeeze. With all of those tax avoidance schemes and Hollywood type setups, they can be expensive and they also take a hell of a lot of maintenance. And whilst really good solutions do exist, this video ain't for those people. So in short, know your level and know your place in the game. You just want someone that knows their has good attention to detail and guides you on the side of caution. So first off, you want to get a meeting or a consultation with the accountants virtually or in person. And if they don't offer this, bounce. But assuming they do, let's crack on with the questions to find out if they know about the industry. So for your own sanity, you want to start these simpler and make them tougher because you can sift out the dross on the way. Now, first of all, and I know for us this is super simple, you know, the mega minds like you and I, but you would be surprised when you ask this question, the responses that you can get. And that is simply, what prop firms are their clients currently working with the most? Now, I've legitimately heard people stumbling and getting the names wrong, that they're trading with a FFTMC? Pretty much like a grandma who forgets a movie title. So if that's them, you know what to do. Bounce. Next question. What was the most common type of tax return they filed for their prop trading clients in the last 12 months? Now, of course, they will likely say a mix, but the interesting part will be to understand if they give context on their answers. Here, you're looking for 2 main avenues that they're going to go down. One, of course, will be a self-assessment being filed for sole traders, or they would be doing the corporation tax and maybe VAT for the limited companies. But it's most interesting to get a real idea of what they're most tasked with doing and what they're used to doing, because you may want or need both. Just remember, there are quite a few boutique agencies and one-man bands who are just trying to pray a quick buck off of a growing industry. You need to know that they know their stuff and haven't just skimmed a few books. Next question. Now, no doubt they're going to mention sole traders, so the next question is to ask them what type of tax was the most common tax paid by their sole trader clients. Now, if they are purely prop traders, i.e. not trading a personal account alongside, and it is their sole income, then the answer is quite simply income tax. If they say capital gains tax, they've got no idea what they're on about for purely prop traders, you know what to do. Bounce. Because your contract in almost all prop agreements is going to be a self-employed contractor with access to demo capital. So you have no access to live capital, let alone your own capital. And so your earnings / invoices will be eligible for income tax if you're a sole trader. Now, if they're saying part of the return they actually pay capital gains tax because they run a personal account alongside, providing it's CFD, then that's a big tick because it looks like they know what they're up to. Next! Ask them what they believe to be, based on their clientele, the most effective and efficient tax structure for their prop traders. Now, of course, in layman's terms, this is essentially asking whether they think you should go down an LTD route or whether you should go down a sole trader route. But this is now where it gets interesting, because all of the good ones, worth half their weight in gold, will go down various roads. What you want them to do is acknowledge that it could vary wildly depending on your earnings and how much of your profits you're planning on using personally. Sometimes they'll ask about your family situation and if you've got a spouse or children, and if they're employed or have an income. They may also ask about your work environment or location, and they probably should ask you how long you've actually been trading profitably and if you have any other income too. So in short, there is no correct answer, but if someone gives you a quick answer straight to the point and gives you an ironclad response, then they're probably trying to bull you into a sexy solution because they think they can pull the wool over your eyes. And all this points to is them not really caring about getting to understand you, your goals, your personal situation, and more just trying to put you in a box and move on. Ideally, you want them probing you with many questions so they can truly understand what your situation and structure is and could be, so that they can make the best recommendation for you long term. Because in some cases, one isn't really better than the other, whereas in other cases, there is a distinct benefit to a certain route. So if one just gives you a simplistic response with absolute certainty,
bounce.
So the final couple of things to ask is how many other clients do they represent that are prop traders? And if they can't give an answer off the top of their head, then it's likely not a big enough part of their business. And also, do you have someone in your practice that specializes in forex trading and prop trading specifically? And if the answer is no, or a suspicious sounding, yeah, you know what to do.
Bounce.
Now, of course, this is YouTube, and the analytics would have it show that people can barely concentrate for 3 minutes before they divert back off to TikTok or Instagram and watch a cat falling off a wall. So I'm just giving a high-level whistle-stop tour of some of the things that you can ask to give you some structure before going in to meet an accountant without overloading this video with too much info. Now, costs, and this can vary massively depending on the complexity of your structure and what they need to do, but just so as you've got more of an idea of what to expect, on the more simpler end, you could be looking at a very cheap end of about $850 plus VAT, and on the more complex end, you're looking up to around $3,000 plus VAT. Now, most will fall in the middle, but just remember, you can expense your accountant's fees. So now, the big question, the carrot you've all been waiting for. Who, in the UK anyway, could be the answer to all of your prayers, the jam in your donut, the yin to your yang? What firm could possibly have a team dedicated to forex traders, who also represent day traders with prop accounts, who have a decades-long reputation and know their Well, I actually met with the two head honchos over at Accountants Unlocked here in the UK, and I had a big discussion with them about their understanding of the trading industry, their experience so far with the trading industry, but more importantly, how they've supported the new retail prop traders on the market. And fortunately, they have set up a bunch of traders, both personal and prop funding and the hybrid, into a structure that best fits them for their personal circumstances, and also getting them set up with banks that they can leverage their relationships with. But please, if you aren't profitable, and your day will come. If you put in the work, your day will come. But if you're not, don't be that silly that tries to hit them up and talk a good game. It's an absolute waste of everyone's time, and you should just focus that energy on becoming a profitable trader. And as much as I really love that disclaimer, I'm abundantly aware that there are still going to be a bunch of silly to go ahead and do it anyway. And for that reason, I'm not going to leave the two head honchos direct contact addresses, but I will be leaving the contact details in the description below that they've especially created for all of you guys to apply, and they will match you with the right accountant for your situation. Now, they aren't paying me to create this video, but I have been asked so many times about what accountants people can go to because they can't seem to find any. And every single YouTuber that you watch just says, get an accountant with no recommendations. So if you do want to be taken seriously, use the contact details below and use the reference code so they know that you are coming from this channel and will prioritize you in terms of processing. Righto! Well, that one just about covers it for this one. Smack that like button for a laugh. Hit subscribe if you want to hear average finance advice come poor humor, or if not, suit yourself. See you never. Peace. Goodbye.